several problems with Jesus as Messiah. Number one is the fact that to the extent that either Jesus or maybe Paul after Jesus, this is kind of an open question, called for the abrogation of the commandments of the Torah by basically saying that God replaced the covenant with Israel with a new covenant based on faith in Jesus, that is a violation of the fundamental idea that the Torah is eternal and the Torah will never be changed.
Okay, hang on just a sec. Now, I know that this is, for you and me...
Second straw man.
Okay, for you and me, it's a straw man. But honestly, if he's talking to modern-day Christianity, to modern-day evangelical Christianity, this is a true argument.
Right. Well, I would accept that, but we have to also remember, we have to keep in mind that the people that are going to accept this argument from this rabbi, are the same vast majority of Christians, at least in the West. Remember the Ligonier Ministries?
Sure.
That they're most of what they're carrying around in their noggin is heresy anyway. Right?
Okay, I totally agree with you. But you and I just came off of a trip to ETS, Evangelical Theological Society. I would say that 90% of the evangelical scholars there are going to agree that Jesus and Paul spoke against the Torah, right? I mean, we had this problem, you and I, and don't get me wrong, I
don't know. I think it's a rock in people's shoe. I mean, Dr. Kaiser, that was it Thursday morning. He had a packed room.
Kaiser's an exception, I would say, but yeah.
No, but he had a packed room, and he's. I wish we had clips of that.
We do. Christy Anderson actually
took
video of it.
My students ask me, "Have you ever read the New Testament?" He's like, I did, and I liked it.
It reminded me of the Old Testament. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so those are his classic jokes, but he delivers them so well.
And he delivers them every single year, and every single time the room erupts. It's fantastic.
But his point, and he didn't even get into. I know this is an extended footnote here, but my point is, there is a strong undercurrent, and I saw it in many ETS papers. One on the Psalms, Torah in the Psalter. And he was talking about the love of God's Torah throughout the Psalms. And I was just like going, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome, you know? And then at the end of the session, people ask some questions and then they move on. And it's it's just left hanging. And so I know it's there. I know there's a harvest ready.
Okay, I'm with you on that. In fact, this is why I think that the church continues to reform, right? We're seeing the continual reformation into a Torah observance. There's no doubt about it in my mind. However, and look, I like Dr. Michael Bird. He's done great things in Australia for scholarship and whatnot. He's a young guy. I think he's actually close to my age. He's got his doctorate. He's written a lot for various dictionaries and whatnot. He's in, and I have respect for him. There's no doubt about it. And I wanted him on this show, and I contacted him, and he said, "Yeah, I'd be willing to come on the show." I said, "Great. Let me read your new book on Paul And so he said, "Yeah, not a problem." So Rob and I both get it. We both get his book. We start reading it. I get about 80 pages in or so, and I realized there's no way that we can have Dr. Bird on the show and talk about Paul. And the reason why is because he just assumes all of his readers will agree with him that Paul calls for the abrogation, as this rabbi is saying, of the Torah in Galatians. And the last thing I want to do is get a well-respected scholar on our show and have a debate with him and confront him on something like that. That's not what we're trying to do.
Here's some back to our clip. If I could kind of bring us full circle on this extended footnote here. The rabbi that we're listening to in the clip is back to this just weights and measures idea. Like when we talk about, the rabbinic world, most often in our discussions, we will talk about the fragmentation even within Hasidism, for example,
sure.
Right? This rabbi is not giving that type of generosity. He's not giving his listener that caveat. Rather, he's just painting the whole picture, and he places it's either Jesus or Paul we're not sure, but one of them called for the abrogation of Torah. And that's lazy thinking. That is not a mind that actually would be trained through the Talmud, right? The study of the Talmud is about nuance, high level of nuance between subtleties in interpretation.
I'm with you. Don't miss any clips from Messiah Matters by clicking the subscribe button. Also, give this video a thumbs up and share it so other people can see it too.